Well, for so many of us, including many young people, during this pandemic, remote learning and canceled activities has given them much more free time at home. We know this firsthand.
Yes, it has. And a Fremont teenager has figured out how to use that extra time to help others. As Garvin Thomas shows us in tonight's Bay Area Proud, it's an idea that's spreading.
Verdika Jawa was just 13 years old when she went to a local homeless shelter asking if she could donate baked goods to them. They suggested she come back when she was a little bit older. Instead, she went straight to the CEO of the organization to get approval. Verdika is not someone to let a no or a pandemic get in the way of her helping others. Supply and demand. It's a concept upon which huge corporations rise and fall. But it's also a lesson a 16-year-old can learn in her own kitchen.
Next, we are pouring the dry ingredients.
Growing up, you see, Verdika Jawa loved to bake for her family. But when her older brother graduated from high school, Verdika's supply of sweet things suddenly outpaced the rest of her family's demand.
My brother left for college, so it was just my dad trying to eat 60 desserts. And so at one point, it kind of started to go to waste.
So Verdika and a few friends began baking instead in the kitchen of a local homeless shelter and donating the results.
Someone having to go to sleep hungry was something that really just didn't sit right with me, and I knew I wanted to find a way to help.
But then COVID came, and Verdika was once again back in her own kitchen. Still baking and donating where she could, she called it Bake for Sake and started posting about it on Instagram. She was surprised what happened next.
Instead of just getting responses from, my classmates, I actually started getting responses from high schoolers all across the country.
Turns out Verdika wasn't the only one filling her newly found free time with baking.
So many people had, free time, and everyone was baking during quarantine. And so I think everyone realized that they could put their baking to a good use.
Bake for Sake now has more than 100 volunteers in 8 different states all across the country. They have collectively donated more than 10,000 desserts for groups helping the hungry and homeless. It's a demand, of course, no one group of teenagers, no matter how motivated, can fill. But with such an ample supply of kindness, it's a promising start. Garvin Thomas, NBC Bay Area News.